Wait for a couple more people to show up and get their food.
Because I think I have me 100, 60. About that, right? Yes, no, I'm like, well, for a minute. Yeah. See what the fishing trip was. Yeah. He's like, oh, we'll meet that. I'm the luckiest man.
It should be, yes.
Yes, you are.
In the world.
Each other.
No, I mean, is this sound? They are.
You betcha.
The mics are on, I think, they should be. This is my first time doing that.
For those of you who are waiting, we're just waiting for a few more minutes. We have a little bit of technical difficulty, but we'll be with you in just a second.
No.
Everybody's sitting still and you go to take a bite.
Of course.
And of course.
Hey, hey, Dwayne, can you hear us okay?
God,
Can you give us a thumbs up?
oh, how was the trip?
Okay,
We'll get.
great, all right.
I hope you took some photos, I wanna see him.
Okay,
That's okay.
all right, yeah, go ahead and get started. Sure.
Okay.
Do you want to, look it up?
Yeah. Just a little housekeeping for this event. We are meeting. I did put some sign-in sheets. If we could sign in, that would support just kind of tracking. And then also for anybody that is online, if you could just put your first name, last name, if you feel comfortable, and your email address. That would really help. And then we'll go ahead and get the presentation up.
Before we do that, maybe what we'll do is just welcome everybody and to tonight's community advisory committee. And maybe we'll just go around the table really quick to make sure that everybody knows who's in the room and on Zoom, so, I think we'll start with you, Lori.
I am Lori Larita. I work for National Western Center. I do community events and outreach.
Hi, everyone. Jenna Garcia, Marketing and Communications for the Authority.
Hi, everyone, Steve Nally with the Authority.
Eduardo Gonzalez from CSU Spur. Jared Hopeflix with the Authority.
Brad Buchanan with the Authority.
Slavica Fogg with CRL and also consulting on National Weapons Stock Show.
I'm Catherine Archuleta, your facilitator for tonight.
John Simon with Burlington Will.
Corey Jones, the Campus Sustainability and Safety Manager for the National Western Center Authority.
I'm Sarah DePietro, with the Mayor's Office of the National Western Center, or Nwca.
Brian Perry with the Mayor's Office of National Western Center, Nwca.
And we'll go around the Zoom room and we'll start with Paul.
Hello, everyone. Paul Andrews. I'm the CEO of the National Western Stock Show.
Thank you. Rick?
Yeah, Rick Rivera with Partner Colorado Credit Union. Thanks for having me.
Simon J. That's you, okay, thank you. Let's see, going. Sandra,
Hello, everyone. Sandra Ruiz, Global Resident.
Lynn,
Hi, everyone. Lynn Lombard, City Council District 9, Office of Councilmember Darrell Watson.
AE, are you able to join us by audio? No, okay. Bianca,
Hi everyone, Bianca Steer from Fingate, leading the team on the Equestrian Center and Hotel project at the National Western Center.
Angela,
Hello, everyone. My name is Angela Garcia. First, I'm a Global Resident. Secondly, I'm a member of the Community Investment Fund.
thank you, Angela. Claudia,
Hi, this is Claudia Cardosa and I'm with Focus Points.
then there is a 720, can't see the
495.
495 number. All right,
And we've got Fernando as well on the.
oh, Fernando. Oh, there you are. Fernando? Do you want to introduce yourself? Okay. We'll catch up with you later, Fernando. So welcome, everybody, to tonight's CAC meeting. We're really glad you're here tonight. We have a full agenda. And maybe we'll just flip to the slides. Jenna. And next one. Okay, just to remind ourselves that the CAC began in 2013 by the Western Stock Show Association to provide opportunity for community to learn about the meaningful input and to be a meaningful input and be a major participant in the development of the proposed National Western Center and provide input and feedback throughout the implementation of the master plan. And as we do that, we're always cognizant and aware of the values of how we work together and respect and trust, openness and transparency, encouraging others to speak and as well as our own voices, inspiring one another and making sure that new ideas have a place in all of our conversations. And we understand completely that sometimes we may not agree, but other times we just need to strive. If we are in disagreement, we want to strive for partnership through collaboration and cooperation. All voices are welcome. Consensus decision making, I think all of us have seen this, but just to remind us that we are a consensus. We do make decisions by consensus, and I'll just remind you that any of the decisions that come up tonight, if there are any. So, as an agenda, we have a full agenda, just to give you a hint of what that is. Paul is gonna, or Steve is gonna talk to us about the equestrian center, and Paul will talk to us about the stock show. And we have the mayor's office of the National Western Center. Is Mike gonna join us? No, Brian?
He's not gonna join us today.
So either Brian and Sarah are gonna take that role for us. And Eduardo will talk to us about CSU Spur and their activities. Lori will talk about the National Western Center update and things that are going on here at the National Western. And a community member update, asking all of you if there's other things that you would like to see or like to share with the community. And then finally, an opportunity for public comment. So I think we'll just go ahead and move directly to Steve.
Great, thank you, Catherine. Hi, everyone. Again, Steve Nally with the authority. I'm going to cover a couple topics on the equestrian center, and bear with me a moment. I'm going to pull up some slides.
Steve, do we want to let Paul cover stock show first?
Sure.
I didn't catch that in the agenda and I forgot that.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay?
Sure, that's fine.
Paul, would you like to go first here?
I am happy to do so, although I do appreciate Steve Nally and a good presentation. I will be happy to go before Mr. Nally. Thank you for yielding the floor, Steve. Anyway, number one, welcome to all of you. We greatly appreciate this group. And yes, we started it in 2013, as was noted, and I can just see it growing by leaps and bounds underneath the authority here, and that excites me a great deal. The National Western Stock Show this year was very good. It wasn't a record year. I'd love to sit here and tell you it was a record year, but we were faced with the worst 3 snowstorms on Saturdays that we've ever had. So, and for all of you that aren't in the live event business like I am, when it snows 6 to 7 inches on a Saturday is your biggest day for attendance. And we lost the people those days that normally just come buy a grounds admission ticket and walk around and see the animals. We didn't lose the rodeo people. We didn't lose the horse show people. So that affected the roundup number, because the more people that are at stock show, the more roundup dollars will be coming to the CIF fund. So happy to report, even with lower numbers, because we ended at 658,000 attendees for stock show, which is the 10th highest of all time. But usually we're squarely in the 700,000 plus number. The CIF, as a result, did a total of $73,000 that will be transferred over to the authority, which they may or may not already have it. And then they will make the transfer over to the fund itself. 67,000 of those dollars came from the SSA group, and 6,000 and some change came from Aramark. And the difference is Aramark runs the Denver Coliseum concessions, and the SSA group runs the side of the street that we're on with the expo hall and the stockyards and all those areas that are kind of to the north of Interstate 70. So obviously, good job done by them, and we're excited to see that number. The events that fund the scholarship trust for us, and so we're supporting 150 students that are going to college right now, compliments of the National Western Stock Show. They're in colleges throughout Colorado and Wyoming. And there's 4 events that fund that trust. One of them is the Coors Western Art Show, which had an all-time record year. The second is the Junior Livestock Auction, an all-time record year. The Citizen of the West Dinner, the most tickets ever sold for Citizen of the West and the highest revenues. And same for the Boots and Business Luncheon that occurs right before Stock Show. So those are the 4 things that fund our scholarship trust. They all had record years. So we will be supporting those 150 students, and that's going to be about $600,000 that flows out to them in scholarship money at the this year in 2025. Last thing I'll comment on that I was very excited about, and I want to publicly thank Fengate and Bianca on this call. Bianca sponsored the limousine, which is something that AE has created over the past several years. And because of that sponsorship of Fengate, AE was able to go to all the Globeville area Swansea neighborhood in a rotation and transport any of the residents to the National Western Stock Show free of charge. So thank you, Bianca. Thank you, AE, for doing that in what is easily one of the most recognizable vehicles in all of Colorado. If you have not seen the limousine, you're missing something there. It's quite a sight. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions for any of you about the National Western Stock Show. But again, excited to be able to at least transfer the $73,000 over to the fund from this year's show.
Questions from members of the CAC? Anybody in Zoom? I'm not, Paul?
Since I stepped out to comment.
I'm sorry.
Daisy said I stepped out to comment, so she may be.
Okay.
Yeah, she's coming.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Catherine? Hey,
Yes,
Paul.
we can. We do AE.
Paul, thank you. You really caught me off guard. I've been quiet about reporting publicly because I didn't know how you and Fengate wanted to handle that because y'all were so unconditional. I'll just say real briefly that this is an utter joy working directly with the National Western Stock Show. And I was so grateful for Fengate. I fell and did a face plant and broke my nose and lost a month in the lead up. And panically went directly strictly by word of mouth with the help of Fengate and Paul to get out and deploy. And I could not blast beyond word of mouth because there was too many people to keep up with. And I was circulating in the neighborhoods and picking up people on feet with the blast. And I'm really delighted to say, and I've left the signs on the limousine. People are still hopping on board to go to the stock show. So, but I'm really delighted to say people are recognizing that limousine over the years. Paul and I want to thank, this is the third year with a skip in, and I really want to thank Bianca, Paul. It's an act of just sheer fun. And a lot of the Wranglers got on the bus. I met a mutton buster champion. People were just, it's just very personal, smiles all over the place. And I look forward to trying to figure out a good way to make this a community trust and transition it into something that we can get a lot more out of as time goes on. So I just want to say it's joyful and it's a really valuable relationship with the stock show. Paul, thanks for letting me parachute in, and Bianca, thanks so much for enabling it in partnership with the National Western Stock Show.
You bet, and good job. Good job, AE.
I picked up a lot of strollers too. That's always so happy.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you, AE. Shannon, would you like to introduce yourself? We missed you at the very beginning.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I was running late. I'm Shannon Hoffman. I'm the project manager for the Globeville Elyria Swansea Community Investment Fund.
Thank you, Shannon. And Amber, did I miss you at the beginning? Okay.
Yeah, hi, I'm Amber.
Hi, Amber. Thanks for being here. And Carrie? Would you like to introduce yourself? Okay, Carrie, we can come back to you. Should you introduce yourself?
Sure, Bradley Cannons, National Western.
We're gonna give you that name tag.
Armando Bayon, GES. Thank you.
Take care, Armando. All right, so we'll move on back to Steve Nally. Thank you, Steve.
All right, thank you, Paul. I'm gonna share some slides here and cover a couple topics on the Equestrian Center projects. So we are in a very similar place that we were in last month when we presented to this group. We are still working to put all of the pretty pictures that you all have seen into words, into legal documents. And we are just getting started in negotiating those legal documents with our development partner. But there are two things I wanted to cover tonight in a little more detail. The first thing is in response to AE posing the question last month about kitchen equipment in the community space. And I just wanted to talk about what that community space and that kitchen needs to accomplish and how it needs to be outfitted to accomplish the goals of community members. The other topic is really exciting and I'm gonna bury the lead. We're gonna wait on that one for a bit. But we're really excited to roll out a potential opportunity on the as part of the project. So this is the site plan that shows all aspects of the Equestrian Center Hotel project. You're seeing the arena, the stables, and barn warm-up paddocks, loading area. To the very top is a greenhouse to the left and community space to the right. This is surrounded by the main campus plaza and the connectors to National Western Drive. And then off to the right is the parking garage. In the kind of center right is the hotel. That is right up next to the paddocks and stables building. And then the smallest building out there is the armor building. That's the landmark historic structure that will be part of the hotel operations. You guys have seen this quite a bit, hasn't changed, but wanted to remind folks of what we're talking about. The next slide, I'm going to go right into the community space. You saw at the top of that site plan, it's a series of 2 buildings. You're seeing the floor plan at the very top of this page. To the left is the greenhouse, the grow facility into more of a flexible room or potentially a head house or kind of the operations of the greenhouse itself. In the middle is a patio where the 2 spaces come together. To the right is the community space, which is a large gathering room with roll-up doors out to the sidewalk, restrooms, a kitchen component, an entry area, and then a patio off to the right. And so you're seeing a kind of a zoom in of those 2 spaces. I will go now to the community space. And so again, this is to the left is that patio that is between the large gathering room, community space, and the greenhouse. You're seeing that large room with those roll-up doors. That's the little dashed squares that you're seeing in the large gathering room. Those are like garage doors that roll up, where this space can spill out to hardscaped and out onto the sidewalk. You're also seeing a large kitchen island and cabinetries and a countertop in the kind of bottom right of the large gathering room. And then kind of center right, those are 4 individual restrooms, a couple of storage closets, one with necessary technology in the building, water heater, things of that nature. And then to the right of that is a flex room, which could be used for storage, the entry lobby, and then off to the right of the page is an outdoor patio enclosed. And so back to AE's question that she posed around the kitchen equipment. Wanted to bring back some thoughts that we've had of how this could function and want to confirm those thoughts with community members and get a sense of how you all want to use this space and how you would want to use this kitchen. If we were building a kitchen for our concessionaire to go in and prepare meals, this would look like a very different kitchen. This would be a commercial kitchen with a 3-compartment sink and warming trays and a big hood, and it would look like a large commercial kitchen that meets the health code for a concessionaire to prepare food for sale, to sell to patrons.
I know.
And I don't think that is what, we've heard from the community as a desire that this is a space for our concessionaire to cook. Instead, we've heard this is a gathering place for the community. And so that can go in a couple of directions. It can be a place where everyone brings their crock pot. Everyone brings it's like a potluck. They bring meals that have already been prepared and they plug them into a bunch of outlets here. Or it could be a place, where, let's say, community members want to book the space and cook Thanksgiving dinner or cook a dinner, for whatever the event may be, for the people in the space. And so we also want the kitchen to accomplish that. And there's a way to do that without triggering these higher level commercial kitchen health code requirements, by, think of this as a church events kitchen or a rec center kitchen, where you can prepare food kind of more it'll look like a residential kitchen. And so that's the direction we think we should be going in. So think of this as a single island that is countertop height, where you can load it up with crock pots or use it as, for many different options. I think what's shown here is a dual height, which may limit some of the functionality of the space. Dual height meaning one side is a counter height and the other side is a bar height. And so we think it's more functional if it's just one flat space. And then we've also had this idea of taking away the cabinets that are up high. We don't think that there needs to be a lot of storage here of items, dishes, things of that nature. Our concessionaire could actually stock this space with compostable wares, plates, things that the community members could use. So we don't need a lot of storage for glassware and silverware and things of that nature, and also wouldn't need a dishwasher. And so by removing those upper counters, we potentially free up that space for community art, free up the wall for some other opportunity that could occur there. And then some of the appliances that we've been thinking about would be an ice machine for drinks, cocktails, kind of under counter ice machine, double ovens, not just one, but two, a ton of outlets, an outlet every 3 feet. So we can have so many crock pots and, a bunch of prepared meals for potlucks. 2 refrigerators, 2 like residential refrigerators, for storage of beverages. And if people bring a dish that they prepared at home and they want to put it in the refrigerator and then warm it up later in the evening or whatever, it allows for that. A large residential sink and a disposal. No dishwasher.
Why don't you save that little gift for Christmas and join us?
So I am curious to hear thoughts from other community members, how you would want to use the space. And sorry, we went into a lot of detail there around ice machines and counter height and bar, and curious to get your thoughts.
So what do you think? What sort of feedback would be helpful for Steve and the team in looking at that space? Is what he described have everything you think it should have, or are there changes you think might be worth considering?
And what ways can we support you to gather that information? Is it, having a questionnaire go out? But I feel like that's what we're trying to collect, is how can we best hear your vision, your hopes, and collectively, maybe in that survey, have information on, kind of a drop down of what could be an option.
I can't see hands.
Yeah.
2 things. One, the kitchen, will that be licensed like, under like an official commercial license. So say that community group wants to come in and for whatever reasons, make some food and they want to sell it to the fundraiser or something like that. Obviously to do that, sometimes you need a commercial license to come in here.
Right.
Second thing is on that large area, are you gonna have like portable walls in there? Cause I'm thinking of, say I'm working on a project and I get a small grant, like say $10,000 or whatever. And then I wanna do a weatherization project, but I have to come into a room like this and train say it's the residents, whether it be high school adults, whatever it may be. And then we come in here, we train the constituents here, and then we send them out in the field. But at the same time, I'm gonna bring some equipment in here that's gonna be under our nonprofit organization. We're legally liable for that equipment. And yet we might need to leave that equipment here for 2 or 3 days as we bring in different groups to train them. And then after the training, we pick up the laptops and then start using the facilities in the conference room. And then, we go away from the National Western or that area. So one of the, again, is that area gonna be secure? So we as a nonprofit agency, if, the authority allows us to use these facilities for a short period of time just to conduct our servicing of the neighborhood. And in this instance would be weatherization, helping the people, the residents of the GES weatherize their home free through Excel. They have a program out there right now. So,
Yeah.
the question is,
Two very quick questions.
security and then the license.
So the vision for this place is that is for the community to use for free. And that the authority is making sure that the lights are on, that there's security, that we're taking care of the landscaping. And so there's a lot to figure out around operations still.
And I'm sure as residents, we want to, obviously, well, for me personally, you can, we want to make sure and honor I'm sure there's going to be some ground rules, hey, no messing that up, live it the way you found it and, make sure it's a nice quality. And we want a place where people can come and enjoy it. But more importantly, if you do that as a learning experience and they walk away, hey, the National Western, that was really cool. It's really thoughtful that, so when city council comes in or, they take a tour or whatever, or if they want to see something that we're doing, like a weatherization project, we can show up we can do a Zoom here and show, okay, what houses were impacted. We go to Citizen Science's, technical platform, we hit there, city council knows that we touched 4,000 homes in GES, now they're all weatherized. Because of why? The National Western Stop Show will be able to be a good neighbor.
That's the goal, absolutely. And the how it gets booked and all that, we're gonna work through that over the next several years. But the vision is that you would be able to book it, reserve it for a period. If it's available, you could book it. Several days, if you need to leave equipment in there, I think that's fine. We will have security, for the whole campus. And the building has, security built into it as well. So from that perspective, we're trying to make the building as flexible as possible. Bunch of outlets everywhere, concrete floor, polished concrete floor, so it's durable and you can move things in and out. And community members can use it how they want. We have a kind of a long list of things we've heard from the community of ways that you would want to use it, and that was one of them. Training, pop-up training sessions, seasonal sales, retail sales. If you don't want to do a pop-up market,
I mean, if you really want to be cool, you could have a wall. And I see that at the university, they put their lab on one side and they spin it and they turn it. But obviously, I don't think we're at that level here. We really want to be cool, forward thinking and innovative,
I mean,
do some cool stuff like that.
the way we want it to be flexible is to keep it as open as possible. And then the roll doors is another way to let the space grow out onto the sidewalk. Your question around licensing, something that we are talking a lot with our operations team about, especially when it comes to liquor licensing. We were thinking that this would not be our concessionaire's place, which gives community members flexibility. So if you want to come in and have a private event, you could either work through us with our liquor license or go get your own liquor license, so that you can sell alcohol. When it comes to food though, if you were to cook food there and sell it as a public event, I think that would then potentially trigger the 3-compartment sink and all of the health requirements around a commercial kitchen. And the intent is that it wouldn't be that kind of kitchen, but you could prepare a bunch of food, bring it and serve it to a private event.
One other quick comment, this kind of falls in Jenna's realm scheme of, will it say the one portion or corner, like, I'm thinking of like, say these 2 walls. And then say we have a portable wall or something like that. Is it possible or feasible to even have like studio quality sound in there, like for filming, doing a video or some cool things that happen at the National Western? We have some residents there showing them that, some weatherization projects that we do on there, and it's going on in real time, but, say the Jan and her staff is doing a video of that taking place. And then we take that same thing, we take it over to Colorado Charter High School to show the kids what's really going on here at the National Western.
I don't know what studio level sound means, but,
You have to ask Jan, I'm just speaking up with some of the cool things that she's done, and I've been part of that, and I think,
there is sound speakers, you can, play background music, there's a PA system where you can get on a mic and speak, people can hear you. An event gathering space type of sound system. That's what's in the building. I think if you're bringing in if you're doing a specialty kind of event, I don't think the sound would be there with bringing that equipment in.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about the wall being, some sound studios have like a 4-inch thick wall or something with foam and stuff like that. I'm just thinking maybe 2 walls. Like a small, like 4x8 piece or something like that.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sandra has had her hand up.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
Sandra? You're on mute, Sandra.
I didn't have my hand up. I don't know if it was someone else.
Okay, I thought I saw it earlier, sorry. Okay. Steve, you wanna,
Yeah, if
do you
I,
have any other questions?
No, and just one quick thing, because I gotta go over to this other meeting across the street here.
I got another topic you're gonna wanna hear.
Okay, on March 15th, we're doing a home ownership summit over at the Focus Point, and obviously we're gonna share all the cool things that are happening here. So I think Lori's gonna join us, make a couple of announcements about what's happening here in the National and some of the cool things that Joel McCullough is also working on. So I'm pretty excited about 2025 for the National Western.
Thanks, Armando. Steve?
Great, so if there are no other comments on the kitchen, I think we'll move forward with that guidance. It's good to get some confirmation on that heading in the right direction, and that's what we'll put into the technical provisions. And AE has her hand up.
Yeah, I'm playing ping pong with another meeting here, but I have to interject one thing because I'm gonna do a way back machine to 2012 in regards to the kitchen. And some of the earlier discussions of what would be enriching to have available for the constituencies in the neighborhood was based on I believe it was 212, the Colorado legislature put in place the Colorado Cottage Food Acts, which allowed I guess limited food products that can be made in home kitchens without licensing or inspection. And there was some pretty, I felt, germinal discussions that have kind of passed into the background around how you can incubate a more vital and diverse menu of things coming out of people's kitchens. And I think that's kind of a lost discussion, but there are ways to equip the kitchen to be conducive to that. I can find the citation on that, and we can see if that legislation is still enabling for this. And then there was some discussion of using the type of technology, energy efficiency, maybe induction, something that demonstrates the standards of advanced technological efficiency, making every step of the campus a teaching and learning, having a teaching and learning depth. So there's a lot of possibilities there, and some of what can go into this community center can demonstrate this community kitchen can demonstrate what can go into an energy efficient house.
I do not have my
So-
shit together today.
Okay, I'm hearing something in the background. I don't know if we have an overlap.
We're fixing
Did
that.
y'all hear my comments?
Yeah,
Yep.
we heard you.
Okay.
Thanks,
then that's it.
Iggy.
Great comments. I mean, I guess the cottage food in response is, the idea is that this would be similar to a residential kitchen. And so I think if there's programming that the community wants to do and use the kitchen to teach others how to prepare food in their own kitchen, this kitchen I think would accommodate that. The demonstration of latest technology, I think is a goal that we have across the entire campus, and it's a good comment. We'll certainly keep that in mind. Okay. The other topic I wanted to hit, which is we are really excited about, we are exploring the opportunity to introduce housing as part of the equestrian project. So adding a housing component to all the other components that we've already presented, that you've already seen. We are very early in this exploration. We have way more questions than answers right now. We are really excited to have this discussion with the community, and what it means and what it looks like. But wanted to let you guys know, don't have a ton of information about this, but wanted to let you know that it's something we're looking into. And we'll bring it back next month with more detail. A couple of other thoughts on that. You guys, Shannon, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to get in the queue to ask a question, but it sounds like you have more to share around that, so I'm happy to listen. I just wanted to make sure we weren't going to a new topic.
Okay. We have something in the chat as well about cottage business for me. So I think last meeting we presented this challenge with federal financing, the source of money that we're seeking to finance this project, and the requirements that come with federal financing, and that was the requirement for manufactured products being produced in the United States. And so when using federal financing, you have to source your light bulbs and your switches and your fuses and every single component of the building from the United States, and many of those things are just not available. So the typical process that a developer would go through is identify all that componentry and seek individual waivers for each component. That was well placed, Laura. And so the likelihood of success of those waivers is risky. I'm pretty sure the waivers go through the White House. And it's anyone's best guess if something was coming from a country that we didn't have the best relationship with, then perhaps the waiver wouldn't happen. And so that was the challenge that we were facing. And the Build America Bureau released guidance that if a housing component was introduced, then those requirements could be waived. And so we have long talked about pad sites as part of this project, future development sites on this equestrian site. And so this is an opportunity to bring one of those pad sites forward earlier than expected because of this news of the financing source. And so that's what we're looking into, and we're seeing if again, we have a lot more questions than answers, and we're interested to hear your questions tonight. That was all I was going to say, Shannon.
You want to go now, Shannon?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. That is like helpful, and well, maybe it's interesting. I guess there's like I have a lot of questions. I'm curious how this maybe potentially affects the development agreement, if it does at all, which I do have a couple questions about the development agreement. I know it sounds like you're in the preliminary stages of talking about housing as a part of this development, but I'm just wondering if you already have any thoughts about what kind of housing, who might, own that housing, who might live in that housing. It is, I think I can honestly say this both as CIF staff member, and that we get a lot of requests for housing support, and also as a board member for the GES coalition, like that is the #1 issue in these neighborhoods. But speaking from my board member position, community control of that housing, and really thinking about how that the types of housing we choose promotes stability and people being able to stay in their neighborhoods. Those are really important pieces. So I just want to uplift those from the beginning. But yeah, I think my main questions are just, how does looking at a housing component affect, if at all, the development agreement? And then have there been any preliminary kinds of conversations about what type of housing? Like, are we talking about LIHTC housing? If so, are we already beginning to talk with any developers or have conversations like that?
We have all those same questions. We're coming to you early. There's still a lot to discuss. And so, I'm not privy to all of the, or I'm not expert in housing, I should say. And so we need to talk to experts in housing as part of this effort. We're curious to hear other questions that folks may have. And we have more questions than answers at this moment, Shannon.
So will this be something that will be brought up next month too?
Absolutely, yes.
So with a little bit more information.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is more of a heads up that this is something.
I mean, I don't think it's presumed, I think, that it would be for rent, not for sale. Is that a fair statement at this point, or is that still an open topic?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's so early. I mean, the overall project is owned by the city. The land itself is city owned. I don't think the idea is that we would sell off a piece of land. It would be, but I think there are more discussions to have. I don't think we know yet. It's so early. So. I really pushed to bring this to the community without answers to these questions. Just so that we can let you guys know what we're thinking about. Much more to come for sure.
Hi, Noah.
Do you have an idea yet where on the master plan it would go?
So you may recall pad sites. I can show the slides again, 1 second. Okay. So there are several pad sites, several opportunities within the red line to develop. And this was part of the RFP that we put together, that we asked for consideration of future pad sites. And so they are numbered with I believe it's number 8. I don't have my glasses on. those are potential sites that could be developed. Some are certainly better than others for housing. The one to the far left along National Western Drive, right across from the riverfront, I would argue is the best site of the 4 pad sites. The other pad site is just plain south of the parking garage. Yeah, they're in green. So yeah, it has always been a concept to bring or to identify pad sites to be developed as part of the project, and this is a potential opportunity to bring one of those pad sites on earlier. Oh, is there a hand up?
Noah, did that answer your question?
That was Laura's question.
Oh. That was Laura's.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, thanks, Laura. Nola?
I was just wondering if, and thank you for bringing this early on, Steve, I appreciate that. If are there things that are needed to be developed or set to be developed on the triangle that could go on these pads to put more housing potentially in the triangle? Just thinking about, the replacing of housing that was in Elyria and the potential for having like more of a neighborhood feel with the attachment to the Elyria neighborhood on the triangle side. And I'm just wondering if you considered any of the other, like the expo hall or some of the other things that are needed on the triangle to go on these pads over here.
I mean, these are not very big pad sites. If you're thinking of public assets, is that where you're headed? Like a trade show hall or a 10,000 seat arena?
That wouldn't fit.
No, these are not very large. I believe the pad site to the plan northwest along National Western is around 20,000 or shy of 20,000 square feet. But I will say that, the housing in the triangle, that is a separate discussion, and it's not like we're saying, oh, we're gonna build housing here and not the triangle. That's absolutely not what we're saying. We just think there's an opportunity to introduce some housing here.
I'll just say I'm a big, big fan of housing, but it definitely matters how it's done. Affordability is crucial. All those things. Would prefer home ownership or some sort of like stake and equity for the people that live there.
Thank you, Nola. I'll move us along. Are there any other comments? Or Steve, have you completed your presentation?
That's it.
Okay. So, following up on that, the Mayor's Office of the National Western Center, Nwca update, Brian and SR.
Is that me that's gonna?
Yeah.
I'm happy to talk about kind of where we're at with some of our projects. I'm sure you all are aware of livestock that's ongoing. It's still on track to debut at Stock Show 2026. So that's the big livestock center that's currently under construction. You can see from Franklin Boulevard, of course. And we also, you might start seeing here in the spring, the riverfront open space art finally get erected. There's been an ad there for a while that's been getting fabricated. So we're gonna, Arts and Venues will be erecting that finally, which will be great. That's by artist Matthew Mosada, and it's supposed to kind of be like a barn raising. There'll be swings there. Many of you probably have seen some renderings, so that'll be exciting for that to finally come to fruition. And then we have pedestrian bridge and Betty Cram Drive Bridge. Those are both finalizing design. now, so moving from 60% to 90% design, and we're hoping that the pedestrian bridge would be under construction this time next year. So we're still working with the railroads and agreements there, but looking at trying to procure that contract and then kick off construction after stock show next year.
I can talk about other GES
Yeah.
construction work.
Yeah, I think that would be good. So we're also working on kind of a one city approach to construction and projects in the GES area. There's a lot of work happening. There's gonna be a lot of work happening around Washington Street, and Brian is the project manager that's kind of helping coordinate all of that and try to get to kind of one kind of central kind of source of truth, if you will, on all the projects that are happening that may or may not be delivered by one specific agency, but a variety of agencies within the city.
Yeah, so, yeah, I met a lot of you at the last meeting. But if any of you are going to the CAG meeting tomorrow, there'll be a more comprehensive construction update. But I'll just give a quick, just on some of the bigger impacts here. The 51st Street intersection realignment project, that is the utilities for that project are ongoing. You guys may have seen last weekend, we did put that on the website, the community website, about the road closure that was on Washington. So that did get out. We're working on a system for helping to alert internally and then actually push those out to the community as well onto the website for any work that's happening. So that's ongoing. There shouldn't be any construction regarding that project on Washington this week, but the levee project, if you guys have seen that, it's at 48th in Washington and over towards the trail. That is the project that this week has been working in Washington and on 46th to bypass the trail. We talked about this in the last meeting here. So that work is happening this week, and that detour will be in place next week. But by the end of this week, so beginning next week and likely through September. Potentially, they will be able to end it quicker than that, but that detour of the bike trail will be in place, like I said, through September. So, yeah. If you guys are able to make the CAG meeting tomorrow, we'll discuss some of these things in more in depth. And then I also encourage you guys to go to the GES website, the GES Program of Projects website that has a lot of information about those individual projects. And like I said, it has up-to-date information on these individual community impacts. And we're working, getting ourselves together and organizing and getting some systems in place where we're just gonna get better and better at communicating those things out and making sure that everyone has advance notice on those items. So, yeah.
Thank you. Any questions? Comments? Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Sarah. CSU Spur and Wi-Fi.
I think in the future, I'm gonna make a PowerPoint, but right now I'm just gonna talk. I'm sorry for not being as cool as.
Nobody's as cool as Steve.
I don't know, it's like he has a whole setup. But yeah, something that I do wanna say, I wish Armando was here is, we have a fully licensed kitchen at Spur that you guys are welcome to book whenever you need. We're fully licensed, obviously your organization has to be, your business has to be licensed as well. But if you ever need a kitchen to create your product to sell, CSU Spur is already there and happy to hook you up with all that whole kitchen. If you have never seen that kitchen, I'm happy to give you a tour, show you around. It is massive, and yeah, I think it'll be a good support to just have the bigger kitchen that you guys are doing, accomplish something else. Same with classrooms too, if you ever need classrooms to teach programming, our classrooms are always very open, so feel free to reach out. And also, if you had a weird experience with us booking rooms, you're not the only person, so reach out to me and I'm happy to walk through it. I see one hand up.
AE, is your hand up? No, or is that your pointer?
Oh, it's my pointer, sorry.
That's
Oh, yeah, it's been a lot of fun programming. This one is we're partnering with the Museum of Nature and Science on not this Thursday, but next Friday night, the Museum of Nature and Science did a whole Girls in Science event. So, and it's completely free from 4 to 8, and then the day right after at CSU Spur, you can come from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and it's gonna be all Girls in Science themed, so it's gonna be a million activities happening, and it's gonna be really, really fun. I'll be there too, so I can also show you around them.
I plan to come to that too, so.
Yeah, come hang out. I would love to. If you see me, please grab me and.
Yeah, bring my daughter and I'll just think.
Girls in Science is awesome. There's always so many cool activities, so many cool organizations. So it's always a party to go. That's on Saturday, not this Saturday, next Saturday, second Saturdays of the month. Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, Eduardo. We have a movie as well coming up.
That's true. Oh my God, thank you.
Yeah.
We're partnering up with Valdez Perry Library. That is on Thursday night. With the movie will start at 5. If you want to come, bring your kids, bring your family. You have to do it through Valdez Perry, so you have to call them and sign up through them. I'm gonna be making ice cream to make your kids crazy. And well, we're doing Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And that is per Victor's choice.
It's a great movie.
That is a great movie.
I've never seen it, so I'm excited.
It's so good. Is that at CSU Spur?
That's at CSU Spur, it's gonna be in Hydro Lobby.
Okay.
And then again, if you wanna sign up, just call Valdez Perry and they'll bring you up.
Okay.
Yeah. It's completely free too, so.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Eduardo.
Of course.
Lori. What's going on at the National Western Center?
So much. So I wanted to share with you that we have partnered with We Don't Waste, and we are providing our first food market Friday, March 7th. We're really excited. It's going to be from 11 to 1. It is a market style, so you will walk down, they have great produce, fruits and vegetables, and you could walk through and just pick what you know that your family needs or for yourself. And then, so you're not just necessarily getting a box and trying to figure out, hey, what do I need to do with, these rice, these beans. You really take what you need and what you can use. So it does support that sustainability and trying to keep food out of, just kind of out of the trash. But their first event is here at National Western Center at our office. We're really excited about that. They serve hundreds of families with these services. Originally it was at Focus Points, but it did get pretty large. So we're excited to be able to come in and have a partnership and, be obviously a resource to the community. They do partner with WeCycle, which is baby essentials. They have diapers, wipes, food for little ones, and they really do have more resources than I can even name to support kind of the same sustainability, trying to keep things out of the trash and waste. So that, our first one will be March 7th, and then the next one will be on April 4th. I will follow up when I send out the recording with the dates and the newsletters, and even Eduardo's kind of list of his events. So don't feel like you have to write this all down, and we'll follow up with kind of a list of the items that we talk about in conversations. On Monday, we had our first newsletter go out to the community. We were able to serve, I think it was 2,000. We were able to send out the newsletter out, and we're so lucky and so excited, but our goal is to beef that up and try to have as much resources and as much communication for the community on a monthly basis. Our goal is to really how we can serve, getting that newsletter out. So if you don't have a computer, you don't have a phone, I'm really trying to work on some ways of getting this newsletter and this information to you. So just be patient with me, and I am working on trying to figure out how to support that initiative of getting it to you. Another thing I wanted to talk about with our sustainability component, I wanted to introduce Corey. He is staffed with us. He started a week prior, so I say he's more seasoned than I am. But he doesn't have much right now that we're going to talk about, but he is focusing on the community and our campus sustainability component. And I just wanted to, say if you see his name, or if you ever want to stop by and say hi and ask him so many questions about compost or let's say recycling, he's my go-to. I walk by and, ask him pretty much for every item. Should I do this? But I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware, because he is really trying to focus on some community initiatives. So we're working together. And then just another thing to talk about, we did send out the local business directory. One of my goals, I know that several people have collected this information, but I would also, if you guys are willing to sign up with your business information. So as we have partners and we have opportunities that would be best fit for you, then we could share that directory with our partners or general contractors. So I just wanted to make sure that I'm not trying to bug you all, but we are trying to support kind of that initiative of supporting small micro businesses in our community, and really trying to make people aware of, small businesses that are in our community. Another thing is we have a community event coming up for Mother's Day and Mother Earth. We originally had it during the week and during a time that really wasn't going to serve our community as much as we'd like. We understand that there were other events happening around that same time, but just to make you guys all aware, my goal and my purpose and my role is really to extend services and provide more resources in our community. It's really to support kind of the gap in resources. So please just be patient as we work on trying to collectively get a calendar. And Margo and I were talking about, we just wish there was like one place that somebody managed that we could put all of our events and everything that is that all of our businesses and community are really offering, just so we're, we can have more of a clear communication on, how can we work together, or how can we do things together and really provide more services and kind of unify our community. Let's see what else I have here. Yeah, I talked about the We Don't Waste, Recycle, March 7th. Please, you can sign up. I will be sending out a flyer. You can sign up 24 hours in advance, but it also allows you to stop in. If you don't have a food, or if you don't have a phone or a computer, you can also just stop in between 11 and 1, and you will still get a box or food resources. So don't feel discouraged if you don't have a phone and you're not able to sign up. They will still provide services. And then Armando left, but I really wanted to, kind of talk about his homeownership that he'll be having at Focus Points on March 15th. Excited to be a part of it and see what resources we can kind of share out to the community, as well as we're really trying to get information on how to collect volunteers for our Garden Place refresh. We're going to do some fresh paint on their other playground, and we're just really looking for some volunteers to support that initiative. That will happen on May 3rd. So we're really excited to have that and be able to give the kids some bright space to play on.
Where is that at?
That's going to be at Garden Place.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're really excited about that. They did it a few years ago, and it's just already with, washing off, and so they're planning on coming together. And I think Councilman Watson will be there, and yeah, I'm really excited. So I will send more information about that as well. Yeah.
Did you get all your events that were on your calendar?
Yeah, so I will be sharing with you all with that follow-up email, just kind of some dates that we have that we would like to plan for the upcoming year. Some of them don't have dates or a theme, but I just wanted to send that out to you guys so you are aware that kind of some of our initiatives. But our goal is to really provide resources and provide a space where people can come and gather, and I can get like that contact with the community.
Thank you, Lori. You're welcome. Any comments or questions for Lori from the group? Well, now we have an opportunity, if there's community members who would like to share some information. AE, see your hand, I see your hand.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. I wanted to address in the catalog of what you're talking about, Lori, what I can describe as unintended consequences. And I would really ask people not to shoot the messenger on this. We all want the best of all outcomes. The institutionalization of We Won't Waste into a large venue in the way that is being discussed is commendable in one sense, but I want to question how the National Western Center Authority is making an analysis of how partnering benefits the term you use in the document is singular, the community. There's an ecosystem of services that small neighborhood groups and larger neighborhood nonprofits and varieties of churches and various groups offer. And I recognize one event outgrew focus points, but going forward, there's this feeling in the neighborhoods that you get when the services are centralized in a constellation of institutions. And we saw this happen with the mobile pet services. And I'll just very briefly say many years ago, before this, 2011, going into the standing up of this, neighborhood group in Gloveville brought the portable vet into the parking lot of a church in Gloveville. We had people coming in from all over the place. The pastor changed. They left. They decided not to have it there. And in the course of trying to figure out how to keep it in the neighborhoods, it went into focus points and then into CSU. And at the time I went and said, hey, why don't you start developing relationships with the constituents coming to get pet services? And there was no movement on that. But the feeling changed of engagement in the proximity of people living in the neighborhoods. I myself am not as convinced that the National Western Center Authority office per se ought to be coming in to fill the gaps in the services, as opposed to the neighborhoods having direct relationships with the CSU, the Western Stock Show Association, the Stock Show, and the city of Denver as direct partners for maximizing the engagement of these incredible resources personally with the neighbors. So, and for the general vitality of the enrichment of the quality of life in the neighborhoods. I think activating the partners as opposed to making the authority a service-based office is something to discuss. So I just want to put those concerns out there. And one last thing, I just want to put out for discussion the digitization of the exchange, and I don't know where it stands. There was an email sent out as Anthony was leaving, Anthony Aragon, sign up for SmartPoint, or you know what I'm talking, SharePoint. My immediate reaction was, okay, I can't sign up my email for that. That links into all of my business and all of my personal databases. I don't know what the settings are at the other side. What is the administration, which is kind of thrown out there. Okay, this is how we're going to access this now. And then there's a closed Facebook group, and having conversations in the neighborhoods, which I have a lot of, but it's not empirical. It's just analogous. I mean, it's just, it's just a few examples. It's just my life. The feel is conventional. The feel is, I think we're missing something, and I felt this. And so anyway, don't shoot the messenger. I don't, this is a longstanding problem in the culture of the campus as an institutional conglomerate with a nonprofit authority model. So I question it. And I just want to invite people to think deeply about this. And just one last comment, I really genuinely want to, Steve, thank you very much for the very early stage of mentioning the housing. I want to make sure that there's no supplanting of the very rich engagement that's going on around housing with the triangle and the folks in the neighborhood and the neighborhoods and the scenario planning process. And I second everything that Nola was saying about all of us being very conscious of that. It is established in the master plan that housing is an important part of the configuration of values in the National Western Center campus. So this is good news fundamentally. But I want to put that out there. I can describe myself as a vested observer because I'm not wholeheartedly at peace with what the culture of this project has become. But I feel very much that it's worth trying to get to the potential. So at any rate, those are things for discussion and observations. And I want to make sure there's no unintended consequences for what may be well-intentioned, but does not make a full analysis of the lives in the neighborhood with a greater engagement with folks.
Thank you, AE.
Thank you.
Angela, we see your hand up.
Yes, thank you, Catherine. I agree with AE regarding We Don't Waste. Now, don't get me wrong, I've gone to We Don't Waste and I appreciate the fact that they have fed me and my neighbors. The other thing with We Don't Waste is understand that it is throughout the city of Denver and beyond. So a lot of people from GES may go and they may not go because I stopped going because it got so big over here at Garden Place. And so just know that it does go beyond the borders of just reaching out to people in GS. It goes beyond that, which I'm glad again that they can feed people. It's a very difficult time right now. So just keep that in mind, that it's not always necessarily community going to We Don't Waste and We Cycle. Again, both really good agencies. I have nothing against them. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Any other comments or questions? Nola says, I missed the kitchen part, but would say a critical aspect is, I just lost it. Is
being prepared for emergencies and resilience for the neighborhoods, maybe some large cooling and frozen storage. Also think commercial kitchen should be considered though through with other parts of food system in the area. And then,
Yeah, I think just in response to that, I think we're thinking of the entire campus as a resiliency center. Should something happen and we need the National Western Center to support the city, whatever the emergency may be, for humans and animals. And so I think let's think about how the community space fits into that equation, utilizing all the facilities we have on the campus. And then, yeah, I think the commercial kitchen pieces, I mean, I think CSU has a pretty incredible commercial kitchen and has a pretty amazing offering. And the community space was intended to be, what we heard from community members was intended to be a gathering space and an event space, a flexible space for things like what Armando was describing. A commercial kitchen would consume that entire footprint, I assume. I mean,
It also need to be closed off from the rest of the space. It couldn't be open like
for health code reasons.
Yeah.
But good comments.
Any other comments? Amy, is your hands just still up or? You have
No,
additional-
I just regarding the kitchen, can you hear me? Just making sure.
Yes.
Okay, I appreciate the recognition that the commercial kitchen would take up the whole community space, but again, harking back to germinal conversations in this, the combination of a commercially viable and small cottage business. And in my memory, in the conversations were that there would be sort of a hybrid, if you will, of something much different from a commercial kitchen set at a distance inside the larger formalized institutional building of CSU. I myself, I just didn't see exactly how this was developing immediately. I wish we'd had more conversations, but the concept of the hybrid sense of a community-centered feel around a commercial kitchen is a different way of doing things. And I do appreciate the model that CSU has as a particular model. I think it's got a potential that's distinct, but right now saying that the obstacle to, that the contrast is that it was a decision that there would be a community space and would have that capacity. These are decisions that come out of a certain analysis of what is community engagement and how does it all fit into the design. It's a lot to follow, but I just want to observe that there were some germinal conversations where the concept of community and neighborhood context, sort of an in situ commercial kitchen that was more of camaraderie and also licensable, but not, exclusively, was a creative conversation. So choices have made it such that we have this contrast now. Just something more to be aware of, and for the sake of conversation around how we form relationships around the assets and opportunities of this, and what can we do going forward to bring those things back together.
Thank you. I'm wondering if any of the members of the CAC have any community updates they would like to share with us in the group. And we also have opportunity for public comment if anybody would like to make a public comment. Okay.
I realized that I forgot from Nwca, an important update that there's I think, community outreach work group number 8 is currently happening now, which is why Mike Bouchard, our executive director, isn't here. So I think most folks know that is kind of a plan the plan effort with a small group of community members on the future of the triangle to kind of help inform an engagement approach with the larger community. So they're currently doing that work, and that's ongoing. I think getting close to finalization, as I understand it. Thank you, Sarah. Apologies, I forgot that.
I would also say that it was an unfortunate scheduling issue where the meetings overlapped. That is not the goal in the future, to have overlapping meetings. So we apologize for that.
Don't see any other hands up or any anything in the room, no? Well, almost 6:30, so a few minutes back to your life. And thank you all for being here, and we'll see you next month. Please reach out to Lori if you have any questions about the meeting or anything that was discussed here tonight. Thank you, everybody. Good to see you.
Thank you.
More than 20, so then being here tonight.